We are attracted by the income of making $150 an hour. But what we don't know is the impact we can have. So it's not just about income. I believe it's also about impact. I like to look at things. I can either get started in something because of the income and then elevate my energy and time to have a bigger impact, or I get started with something via impact and then it sometimes takes longer to generate that kind of income. With legal nurse consulting, you can have both pretty quickly. And again, a lot of us, I think, are attracted to the income of legal nurse consulting, but the value in the impact that you can have. So I want to lean into that today. I want to talk about the impact of legal nursing, the impact of you, your knowledge, your experience, and the impact that the industry has as a whole. I think it's really important. Even bigger than just your impact is an impact on an industry that affects our entire nation. How cool does that sound? So let's start small, all right? Your clinical expertise is invaluable in bridging the gap between the medical facts and the legal cases. And I want you to remember that we know a lot of medicine. Attorneys know law. We as nurses get to help bridge that gap so that the attorney understanding law can truly represent that patient as we help them identify and translate the complex medical terminology into clear, actionable information for their legal team, offering expert opinions on medical malpractice, personal injury, any healthcare related case. I've mentioned those: products liability, workers' compensation. Those are some of the main ones. Your expert opinion can help them position the case. And your expert opinion in saying, I do think someone was grossly negligent, or I don't believe that every injury means it was intentional or harmful. You get to share that knowledge and experience. You get to help them understand that adverse events are a real thing. Adverse effects are a real thing. It doesn't mean that it was someone who was trying to cause harm or be unjust. It's so powerful when you can identify discrepancies or inconsistencies in medical documentation. When I talk about this all the time, I talk about being middle of the road. I talk about being unbiased. And then you hear me say, but Seth, you just told us they want our opinion. Yes. So being unbiased, meaning you're not favoring for personal reasons one thing over another, but you can still offer your professional opinion to say, I do not believe that this back injury is related to the accident. You can still be unbiased and have an opinion. You can do both. You've been doing those your entire nursing career. In fact, most of us internalize the bias because we know that we took an oath as a nurse to be unbiased and to treat every patient the same, no matter their religion, background, ethnicity, personal beliefs, anything. You are already doing this. You do the same thing for them. Have an opinion, but stay unbiased. You don't have to be accusatory in a sense that it's your personal belief or emotion, but you can help them decipher who is at fault. And that is the best part about you having an opinion, is being able to help them figure out, was this pre-existing? Is this something that is at the fault and the insurance of the accident, let's say, and the insurance company needs to be held accountable for this? Is this at the fault of a hospital system? Are we trying to blame doctors and nurses when it is the fault of a system? They put so much energy into trying to preserve capital and save money, they forgot about patient safety. And the insight you get from doing that and the insight you get to share with attorneys is unbelievable. Unbelievable. There is so much value in that. You don't just hold medical expertise, you hold experience. And experience is not something that can be bought. It's not something that can be taught. It is something that you have to actually live through and experience. Your personal and professional freedom that comes with this career, choosing cases that align with what your preference is, earning that $150 an hour, working remotely or on site, up to you, building a career that allows you growth and flexibility and a work-life balance. You want that internal power to fuel an industry, because nothing but good can come from that. How amazing does that feel? Creating meaningful change in healthcare standards. We need to make this better, safer, healthier, not just for the patient, Also, for who? That is impact. That is power. That is an unbelievable amount of gratification to know that you can step into this for income and have that kind of impact on an industry that can be very rewarding. You aren't going to the dark side. This isn't Darth Vader, okay? You don't go to the dark side. It's not all about suing doctors and nurses. In fact, most of the time, we're not suing doctors and nurses, because here's something we all have to just swallow and realize. We all get into an industry or a field to do good, but then there are those bad apples. And I think we can say that about every industry and every field and every career, that there are bad apples, that there are people who are unjust, who lose sight of the impact and their desire and their passion. And so don't let that jade your desire, your drive, or your passion to have a bigger impact. You can opt out of any case by conflict of interest if it doesn't feel comfortable for you or if you feel bias. I have opted out of a medical malpractice case because I did not feel like I could, without bias, review that record, because it was going after nurses and doctors. And I felt like I was going to have a very internalized opinion and be biased about it. So I opted to pass that on to someone else. You have those options. You can choose to not take cases. And if you recognize someone in that medical record and you don't feel comfortable with it, you can subcontract it out. This role can take you to so many different places. Every manufacturing company, every product company, they all have liability. Every building has liability. So wherever people can go visit, any product they can use, any place that they are, can have liability. Attorneys do really value the nurses and our expertise along with other experts. They get it, they're understanding it. It's still an amazing time to get in because attorneys are not taught about us in law school yet. So there are so many attorneys who still do not understand what legal nurse consultants do. So the field is nowhere near flooded. It is still very untapped, and you have so much opportunity for yourself.
Want full access to expert-led trainings, networking opportunities, and resources you won't find anywhere else? The NLNCN is the only national network built for nurses by nurses. Join today and get up to 2 months free. Click the link below to start exploring.